It's time. It's time for...
All right, guys.
I kid you not. The name of this video is insane. This is the biggest political scandal in human history. Let's see if it lives up to the name, huh? Let's see if it lives up to the name. This is gonna be cancer. I feel it in my bones. I already feel it coming.
Happy Monday. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I sure did. Barely have a voice again, and that's because I went to the UFC.
Drunk driving right now. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. 9 more follows on Twitch. We need 9 more to hit 10K.
Fight in Miami. What an amazing card. Honestly, it was fantastic. I love MMA. Honestly, it's the only sport that I love. I also happened to bump into this guy while I was there. Do you guys recognize him? Yep, that is former president of the United States, Donald Trump. Yeah. Talk about that. I'll tell you what kind of a mood he was in. Also, later on in the show, we are going to very briefly discuss the Oscars, because what did you miss? You guessed it, nudity. Of course, there has to be nudity at every event. You just have to see skin.
Morgan
I'm going
Drewy.
back to the website.
Morgan Drewy, thank you for subscribing over on Twitch. I appreciate it. Also, look, John Cena looks pretty good. He's an attractive, beefy boy.
Skin, or else the celebrities will all perish. But first, the biggest
Yeah, I'm sure she was deeply offended by John Cena having his shirt and pants off.
political scandal ever. And no, I am not being dramatic. If what is happening
No, I'm not being dramatic, says woman who titled her video "Biggest Political Scandal in Human History." In all of human history, are you sure about that? Master Void Lover, thank you for the follow. Chat, we only need 8 more. We only need 8 more follows to hit 10K. We're gonna do it.
right now in France is real, and I can tell you right now, I firmly believe that it is, then barring political assassinations, this is potentially the biggest political scandal that has ever happened in the history of the world. I mean, it's so important that I'm not just going to ask you guys to watch this, but to also share it. It's another potential.
I'm gonna ask you guys not just to watch my content, but to share it on social media. Okay? It's not good enough to merely watch the content. You also have to click all the little buttons and share it to your other friends. It's true. It's true. Tonight's the night. It's been too long. I have been, for the last year. Not last year, but at least the last 6 months, we've been timed out. We've been stuck. We will go up a couple follows, go down a couple follows, and it just stayed stagnant for 4 months. A lot of the growth slowed after I switched over to the .gg site because divided the audience and whatnot. But I think we're finally now starting to get to a point where we're growing again, and that is lovely to see. And folks, we need 8 more follows on Twitch to hit 10K officially. Let's make it happen. Tonight's the night. In the meantime, Candace Owens about to drop some knowledge, she says.
Blackmail ring. All that and more today coming up on Candace Owens. This is crazy. I'm talking crazy, 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 crazy. Stop everything, pay attention. If you're driving, pull over. Just kidding, you don't have to pull over, you can keep driving, but you just prepare yourself for what is happening right now in France. So let me give you guys the background. Emmanuel Macron is the president of France. He is married to Brigitte Macron, okay? Their love story has always been extremely weird and extremely creepy.
That part is true. That part is true. Macron married his high school English teacher, which is not good for a number of different reasons.
She is 70 years old, allegedly, and he is just 46 years old. So, already right there, you have a 24-year age gap between them. And at the very least, just looking into their love story, you're looking at what might be, because they change the age throughout the years, a story of pedophilia. I'll tell you what their official narrative has been. The official narrative is that when Emmanuel was just 15 years old, he was a drama student at a school, and his teacher was Brigitte. And while he was very young, they somehow managed to fall in love. That would have made Brigitte way too old to be falling in love with a 15 or 16 or 14-year-old, depending on which article you're reading. But yes, apparently she was just so moved from his depth, this little boy's depth and the poetry and the way that he would write, that they fell in love, so much so that the now First Lady left her then husband, despite the fact that they had 3 kids. Okay? So that's
Yeah. This part, all of this stuff is true so far, and it is very weird, to say the least. Like, she fell in love with like a 15-year-old boy, and then and I'm gonna quote here. This is how Emmanuel Macron describes it: a love often clandestine, often hidden, misunderstood by many before imposing itself. And yeah, not like that. It is deeply weird, and she like left her husband and children to be with this teenager. Yeah, nah. And I guess I don't know exactly what the temperature is in France about that whole situation, but yeah, it's pretty bad.
the background story. Nobody cares. Doesn't matter. It happened so long ago. Now she's the First Lady. We should celebrate her. No, some major update now happening. Major update. So let me tell you about how I happened upon this story. There was just an article that was published in the Daily Mail. Here is the headline: the proof France's First Lady wasn't born a man. What? I was going, what? So I, of course, instantly read it, because what a bizarre thing.
Man, it's really interesting that you're not reading the rest of it and also not noting the date. The proof France's First Lady wasn't born a man. The true story of Brigitte Macron's controversial background is revealed as wicked slurs spread by the French far right to damage the election hopes of her husband. So, yeah, basically, if you guys aren't up on this, France saw the wicked rumors being spread about Michelle Obama being trans and said, "What if we just did that, but but in France? What if we just did Michelle Obama but in France, Michelle Obama too? Yeah, just copy paste it, see how it goes." And this happened, by the way, years ago. Like, I vaguely remember this. I might have even talked about it at the time. I'm not entirely sure. But this is from 3 years ago, chat. And, like, I'm sorry, Candace. There is no way that you were just scrolling around and happened across a 3-year-old Daily Mail article that wasn't being shared around by like Nazis. Okay? There's no way you found this very specific 3-year-old Daily Mail article just because you were going around minding your own business. All right? Are people photoshopping bulges on MO considered a rumor of her being trans? I don't know who MO is. Oh, Michelle Obama. Uh, I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't know how people justify it to themselves.
That you're even needing to present proof that Brigitte Macron was not born a man. And embedded within the article, they showed two photos that I'm going to show you right now. This is the first photo. This is allegedly Brigitte Macron when she was a little girl sitting on her mom's lap. But when I saw this photo, the first thing I noticed was that the person on the far left, the boy, that actually looks like Brigitte Macron.
There's no way a child could look different as a child compared to when they're an adult. That's never happened before. No one has ever looked different as a child and then looked a different way as an adult. Like, like what, dude? Yeah, like just out of curiosity here. Just real quick. Do we have some I just want a good side by side. Yeah. This kid over here couldn't possibly be this guy. They look too different. This child doesn't have a beard. Look at their eyes are totally different. His hair is a different color. Couldn't possibly be the same guy. No way, no how. Candace Owens just utterly baffled at this idea. Guys, you'll never believe it. People actually believe that this is Brad Pitt. I'm sorry, that baby doesn't look like Brad Pitt. That baby is clearly Andy Serkis. And that's Brad Pitt, but that baby is Andy Serkis, all right? He's green screen Andy Serkis. It's the technology they did for Gollum. He's just looking like a baby now. That's Andy Serkis. Like, that baby has too much hair. Yeah, what baby really needs a comb over? Some people say baby needs a new pair of shoes. I think that baby needs a new haircut. Hey, bada bing, bada boom. Butterfly wearing flannel, thank you for hitting the follow button. We need 7 more follows on Twitch to hit 10K. This is clearly the older daughter, not Brad. I don't know why I'm doing this voice, but I'm enjoying it. That's clearly that's clearly Brad Pitt's older sister. It's not Brad Pitt. Oh, you know what? You know what? Here's another one. You'll never guess. On the right, we have Leonardo DiCaprio. And then on the left, we have Alejandra DiCaprio. Huh? Where did all that hair go? It's... on the left, that's clearly a girl. On the right, that's clearly an adult man. How could they be in pictures right next to each other? I'm saying it's computer trickery. The image on the left is clearly Andy Serkis in a green suit. You know, Andy Serkis, the guy who played Gollum in Lord of the Rings, and the hit series of films, Planet of the Apes. It's Andy Serkis this time. As a child. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with the bit.
taking you guys through my thought process. I saw this photo. I was like, that actually looks like she might actually be the guy. Maybe she's a dead ringer for her brother.
All I'm saying is I'm doing this to point out how deeply weird it is to look at someone's childhood picture and be like, nah, you're actually the brother though, on nothing other than vibes. That's the weirdest thing you could possibly do.
But I don't see any resemblance there with the little girl. May show the second photo, debunking another young photo allegedly of Brigitte Macron. But I thought when I looked at this photo that this looks way too new to be a photo of a 70-year-old when they were a child. Now, again, these are my thought processes. When I then read the article, for a child. Now, again, this looks way too.
Here, 1 second. Here. Okay. So, basically, chat. There is a photographer who lived during like the turn of the century, 1800s to 1900s, named Edward Steichen. Okay, he's considered one of the greatest photographers to ever live. He basically invented the idea of fashion photography. He revolutionized like photography as a thing. I need to show you guys a few of his pieces, because this is a photograph from when he was alive. Oh wow, but that looks too new. But chat, that looks too new. He died in 1973, for the record, okay? Died in 1973. If you have a 70-year-old in 2024, okay? They were 51 in the year 2000. She's from the 1950s. If she is like, what, 12 in this photograph, all right? That's in the early 1970s. Like, this is like, how could we have the same technology? How could it be? How could it be? Oh, wow. Here's a photograph of Edward Steichen's from the 1930s. But it looks too good. It looks too good. How could it possibly be from the 1930s? Look at the quality of the print. That's crazy. The point I'm getting at here, guys, is that you can have good-looking old photographs. The degradation is largely a product of like time. It's largely a product of a lot of different of like storage of like all these things. You can this photograph is like one of the most famous photographs of all time, and it's from like the 1920s. Yeah, it's obviously sorcery. Steichen was stealing the souls of his subjects. Also, just I encourage you all check out his work. Like, just some of the most amazing. Like, he's the guy who changed photography from like, the family photo to like artistic situation, and like it's very good. I would recommend it. Recommend checking out his life's work. Anyway, this is actually a fairly low quality photo. Given how she's blown it up, but like, yeah, it looks fine.
New to be a photo of a 70-year-old when they were a child. Now, again, these are my thought processes. When I then read the article, there was no
Morgan Drewy!
Get buff.
My goodness! Tier 3 sub over here. Alright. Alright. That's 4 pumps. Time for me to get buff. Hiya! Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh. You guys are gonna be single-handedly responsible for toning my muscular. Sure. Morgan Drewy, I hope you enjoy your orange name or your gold name in chat. Let's go. Wait, I just want to look up something because one of you asked a question on a whim. Yeah, no, also, Edward Steichen did do Tasteful Nudes. You can find a lot of his work, actually, like, this is from 1930. And it's a very, like, famous photograph. But, like, acceptable for me to show on stream. But like, yeah, he kind of invented the idea of tasteful nudes. And artistic nudes. Is it wrong that I think it's incredibly hot when you lift? No, it's not at all. So anyway, yeah, I think this is pretty cool. If it's wrong, I don't want to be right. All right.
no debunking whatsoever. They just were calling people that were saying.
Also, Josan, BJ Asan? Asan? Thank you for hitting the follow button, chat. Chat. Do we only need 5 more follows? Do we only need 5 more? Or is that true? Or do we need 6? I think we might need... Oh, nope, we need 7. Oh god, the numbers are going down in reverse. Fuck. Okay. We need to max out our reps? Hell yeah. Okay, we need 7. We're back to 7, people.
Otherwise, far right, all the typical buzzwords, far right, conspiracy theorists, racist, sexist, it's homophobic, it's anti-Semitism. Just the thing that we are all now able to immediately look through. These names don't mean anything anymore. And that just makes me want to look further into the alleged theory. And I did. And holy smokes. So the quote unquote conspiracy theory is actually a 3-year thorough investigation that was conducted by journalists that were working with
By which journalists?
Genealogists. It was published in 6 issues in Faits et Documents. I'm sorry, my French is not that good, but yes, they published 6 issues on.
What is this? What is... I have no idea what publication she's trying to talk about. Is it just Faits Documents? No, no, no. I don't think it's. I don't think it's Daily Mail journalists. I think it's like probably some far right publication, but I have no idea what it's called. Even though she just said it, because I don't speak French.
Unpacking what they had discovered after a 3-year investigation. And here is what they are saying, right? So again, I'm going to say allegedly, but this is what they have published. Their theory is that the First Lady, Brigitte Macron, was actually born Jean Michel. So Bridget is actually John Michael. John Michael lived as a man for 30 years, fathered 5 children, okay, and then transitioned at the age of 30 to become Brigitte.
And how do you explain the family that Michael would have had that had 3 children that she divorced to then be with the now Prime Minister of France? Like, the story, like, immediately falls apart just on the specifics.
Okay, now I'm just going to show you this before and after photo, just right here.
Yeah, good question. Are sources linked here? Oh? Oh? Is this it? Oh. Oh. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, this looks so legit. Yeah, everyone, this is, you really got us with this. This is as legit, just as an FYI, this is as legit as the time we went through that one QAnon site that said, doubles of all of the world's celebrities had been made. And were being sent to concentration camps. Yeah, this is cool. If you run across a website like this in 2024, the person behind it is cuckoo bananas, okay? Jesus Christ, dude. Wild stuff. Yeah, just go through. Oh my god, they're doing the thing, guys. They're doing the thing. Oh my god, they're doing like the transvestigating thing. This is transvestigating bullshit at its finest, you know? Like, this is absolutely insane. She has the bone structure of a man. Oh my god. This is the equivalent of people on Twitter who are like, you see, the angle of their incline is sideways, which indicates that they are stressed and putting on an act. You need to be straight up and down. Being straight up and down is an indicator of confidence. Like, this is just insane bullshit. This is insane bullshit that is in no way accurate or true. Look, they're like going after like Adam's apple looking. This is insane. They're literally like, you see, this is a real woman's ass. This is a man's ass. Like, it's literally that level of wildness. I do have to say, I like her dress here. I kind of want one for myself. Insane, dude. Oh, God. Train some bullshit. Thank you for hitting the follow button. We need 6 more. Let's go. 6 more follows. Anyway, yeah. I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I Jesus Christ, I don't think that Candace Owens actually read all this. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that when she threw this link into her video description, I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess she didn't read a single part of this. She looked at it, was like, this is insane bullshit, and I'm going to make an hour-long video about it. That is exactly what happened. And she's just milking this for content. And I am too, but I'm also not pretending this is real. I'm not pretending any of this is real outside of like the insane babblings of internet psychos. Yeah, this was made by real journalists, guys. That's why it wasn't able to be published anywhere at all legitimate. Oh god. Oh no, Candace Owens is like Candace Owens is a creature of her own making, you know, like she might not believe any of the conspiratorial garbage that she peddles, but the effect is the same, which is alienating herself more and more from like real and rational people and going down like the Alex Jones pipeline. It's the conspiracy singularity that I've talked about a lot recently, where a lot of these far-right creators are finding themselves isolated. They can't unradicalize themselves. They can't de-radicalize. So they go, floor to the metal, and they just go right over the cliff, Thelma and Louise style, into the conspiracy singularity. They combine the singularity. They combine all of the, not the singularity. They combine all of the conspiracy theories until they're at the very bottom, where like it's, oh, the Jews are controlling everything, and the Earth is flat, and also NASA lied about the moon landing because again the Earth is flat, and they're controlled by the Jews, and also the Great Replacement theory is real, and also lizard people are real. Like it's just like you wind up connecting all of these conspiracy theories into one thing. Anyway, I should have kept going because we're not even half done. This is what happens when Wikipedia blocks people from editing crazy BS about someone. True. It's so creepy to be zooming in on the necks to look for Adam's apples and shit. That's the thing, though. Like, when people go down, like, transphobia as, like, a conspiracy theory, and I do think that, like, transphobia is almost inherently conspiratorial, because they essentially are just, they're essentially just saying that, like, anyone could be a man, anyone could be a woman, and you might not ever know. Oh my god. And then like suddenly you're like trying to transvestigate like your coworkers at work. You're trying to like transvestigate your cousin that you haven't seen for a while who's looking a little different. And like you get into this conspiratorial mindset where the conspiracy is just other people existing and believing other people when they say, like, when they are who they say they are. Interestingly enough, we arrived at the Obama precedent. My god. Of course Obama turns up in this document. Here, we'll read a couple paragraphs. The first of Murad al-Hattab's 2 revelations, videos in the previous appendix, is in my opinion the more important. It allows us to better understand the Bridget legend and the denial operated by the Macron couple. When I started looking into it last December, I found a 66-page English-language document about Bridget. And I was surprised to learn in it that Michelle Obama was also born a man. At the time, I did a quick search, and as nothing seemed obvious and sure, I rejected this information. You did a quick search in like 2022 about, or 2021 about Michelle Obama being a man and you didn't find anything obvious or sure, despite the fact that like far right psychos like you had been calling Michelle Obama a man since like 2006. Okay, sure, bud. You lying sack of shit. Came back to my mind when it became certain that Emmanuel Macron was going to run for president again. How's it possible to believe that with such a scandal, the media and the population will continue to consider Brigitte a woman for another 5 years? The only really convincing answer that came to my mind was this: because there was the Obama precedent. Since the Obama couple succeed in hiding, with the complicity of the media, that Michelle was born a man, the Macron couple must also succeed. While making people forget that Brigitte is a pedocriminal. This term is used by Murad El-Hattab, who cites Article 227-22, paragraph 1, in correspondence with Wikipedia, as we've seen. Oh, this Murad El-Hattab is just trying to post insane bullshit to Wikipedia, and they're saying no. But the rejected information from Wikipedia is the source for this claim. Okay. This is not the case for Michelle Obama. The difference is essential. I don't know if Michelle Obama was born a man, and I don't care. She lives in her corner with no impact on us. But the quick overview I did, and I don't want to go beyond that, I find it disturbing that Mrs. Obama was unable to bring a denial. It's so easy. DNA analysis, blood test. And it seems to me that there are less factual elements than for Brigitte. It would be less clear also for the physical appearance. On the other hand, I know what it is about Brigitte Macron, and we are millions to be concerned by her pedocriminality and the misdeeds of her spouse. We need to get out of a governance based on their lies of all kinds. It has led us to poorly treated disease, to a generalized piquet with uncontrolled effects, to apartheid, and to despair of too many caregivers. And the public debt and the perverse couple wants to screw us for 5 more years, right to the end? Okay. So, first of all, this guy's claiming that France is an apartheid state for conservative Frenchmen, and are you kidding me, dude? For real? You're as a Frenchman, you're being persecuted in France? The only thing persecuting you in France is your snooty attitude and silly foods. Baguettes? More like dueling staves, okay? Dueling staves. That's not bread. Baguettes aren't bread. They're just sticks to hit people with. Baguette was a little stale. He's oppressed. One less snail at the restaurant he goes to. Oppression. The pastry wasn't as sweet. Oppression. He's that rare thing, a Frenchman improved by less wine, not more. Yeah. I don't know. The French are okay. I just... Conservative French people are insane. Anyway. We're barely halfway through this, by the way, just as an FYI. In case you're wondering how much bullshit is there here, the answer is too much, and I'm not reading all that. TLDR. All I'm doing here is trying to prove to you guys that Candace Owens is full of garbage when she comes to, like, having read all of this. I don't believe that for a second. And I also don't believe that if you read all of this, you would be at all convinced, especially considering you guys are literate and you have, like, you know, internet experience to know that this is insane bullshit. Just from a visual inspection. Is this still about Macron? This is still about Macron. All of this is still about Macron and his wife being a secret man. Like, they're zooming in on her lips. My God. Yeah, they're trying to be like, and see, that's a dick. She's a he. It's insane bullshit. Whoever put this weird PowerPoint together is a psychopath. Yeah, and I feel like that's pretty apparent just from looking at it, but also we read like 3 paragraphs of it and it is psycho insanity. Do the transvestigators not know about bottom surgery? I guess not. Honestly though, Zero PE, I feel like if this came out during like the era of like geosites, it would have more drip, you know? Like this is insane how little drip this has. Nah, guys, she might have been married to the president. She can't afford bottom surgery. She's just barely scraping by. We're still not done. It's still going. Are you mentally okay? I'm mentally solid, baby. I'm built like a fortress. I am the alpha and omega of mentally fine. This is pretty insane, right? We're still going. It's been like 5 or 6 minutes of just nonstop scrolling. This is crazy bullshit. Ah. Are you sure about that? I don't know. I feel like coming in and asking that is a pretty clear indicator that you're not doing so hot. Oh my God. We made it to the end, and I am actually shocked that we see Candace Owens referenced in this document. What the hell? This episode is blowing up, so I just want to say, after looking into this, I would stake my entire professional reputation. Oh my God, dude. This is insane. Candace Owens is a famous US journalist with 3 million followers on YouTube and 5 million on Twitter. Yesterday, she published a 17-minute video that's proving a big hit across the Atlantic. Entitled Incensed. This is the biggest political scandal in human history. It is based on fates and documents and links to this page of the Precipice dossier. Already almost 800,000 views and over 10,000 comments in 24 hours. Could this be the start of a Streisand effect? Is a recognition of reality beginning? Like, wild stuff, dude. Okay. I mean, well, we saw Candace Owens' source for this story, and I think we should all keep that in mind as we go forward through the rest of this, okay?
They actually used, as a part of their investigation, Chinese software. And this is a side-by-side. It is such a dead ringer. It's crazy.
It's literally all sourced. We saw this picture in the dossier. It's literally all sourced from this goddamn cuckoo bananas dossier.
Crazy to me that you would not say that these two individuals look alike. This is potentially the same individual age. So on the left, what I'm showing you is John Michael. On the right is a photo of the First Lady, okay?
Wow. It's almost like they're related.
Now, I will tell you why this has legs and why I'm going to encourage you to read the very long document that I read, which we will include in the link in bio. The first obvious thing, the first obvious reason that I am very much believing what they have published is because the First Lady is simply unable to produce any photos of herself throughout the first 30 years of her life.
You literally showed 2 of them already. You showed 2 of them already in your own thing, in your own video. You showed 2 of them already.
Guys, how easy to debunk this? If you say, Candace, no, actually, you lived as a man for 30 years. I lived for 30 years. I'm going to show you every photo of every year that I've lived. Here's me in college.
Oh, okay, Candace. Show us every photo of every year you've lived. I am hereby saying, Candace Owens, you are a man. You must now, in order to refute my claim, post every photograph you have ever taken of yourself throughout your teenage years, throughout your college years, every photograph. You must now produce them all. Now, you see how that's unreasonable, right? You see how that's like cuckoo bananas bullshit? But for some reason, you don't recognize that for, like, making that demand on other people.
College, right? Here's me while I was pregnant with my children. Here's me and my husband on our wedding day. There would be so many photos that Brigitte should have at her disposal if this is false. But they won't produce any. Nope.
Well, first of all, because it's stupid bullshit. Second of all, you aren't going to believe them even if they're produced. You already showed 2 of them that were produced, and you said you didn't believe them. And third of all of her pictures are probably not digitized. They're probably in actual photo albums because, again, she was born in, like, the 1950s.
They're just calling everybody wrong and backwards and transphobic. Just produce the photos. Instead, the only photos they have produced that are circulating in the media are the photos that I just showed you.
Dude, did I piss off a bunch of, like, Aiden Ross stans? Is that what happened here? Because Aiden is busy for real? I don't know. Is that what happened? Like, where are you roaches crawling out of? I'm curious.
And as I said, the first photo, she looks more like the John Michael, who she claims is actually her brother.
I'd be worried if Aiden Ross fans could fit more than a sentence together, but even that's asking quite a bit from them.
Who she won't just present to the public. If that is in fact your brother, please just go on a walk with him so we can capture it and say, no, she just happens to look like her brother. Here's John Michael. No, John Michael has disappeared. The genealogists just can't find a single trace of John Michael since Brigitte came into the public space at the age of 30. So John Michael existed for 30 years, according to the genealogist, okay? And then John Michael stops existing and Brigitte exists. But Brigitte doesn't exist for the first 30 years, okay? The second photo, the one that I said to you looked...
Yep, no one would ever be able to find her brother.
A little too recent for an alleged 70-year-old. Well, yeah, they were able to debunk that. That's actually a photo of her daughter, her daughter Trefane. You can see now side by side. Of course, that is her daughter. It's a dead.
Yeah, how could a mom look like in a photograph of themselves being young look at all like their offspring? This is insane, dude. Oh, yeah, the photograph looks too good. Therefore, it must be a modern photo in black and white with a black and white Instagram filter on it. And guys, this video has 1.1 million views from 3 days ago. Like, this is insane bullshit, but people believe it. They eat it up on the right. It's insane how little discernment conservatives will have with narratives like this.
Dead ringer for her daughter. So why would you colorize a photo and make it black and white and try to pass it as...
By the very nature of, like, making it black and white, you're decolorizing it. But okay.
As yourself when it is in fact your daughter. Now, I'm sure somebody will say, well, didn't come directly from the First Lady. It is very obvious that they are trying to dissuade the narrative.
Yeah, those pictures look the same, look similar because parents often look like their children and vice versa.
By producing these two photos, which are easily debunked. Here's a second reason that I would say major red flags. Rather than just producing what should be ample evidence of your existence for the first 30 years of your life, they're suing. Yes, the First Lady actually sued two of the journalists that were involved in producing the story. Brigitte Macron, here's a headline from the Telegraph. Brigitte Macron sues women who claimed that she is transgendered. Well, something to
Yeah, I mean, like, if people are lying about you publicly, like, yeah, you can sue them for defamation. That is a thing you can do.
note is what exactly Brigitte is suing for.
Interestingly, though, Candace Owens said Bridget Macron was suing journalists, and yet the Telegraph says sues women, because I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that the women involved are not actually journalists. They're just people posting insane bullshit on the internet, which is very different. These two categories, very different.
Well, something to note is what exactly Brigitte is suing for. She's suing them for violation of privacy and fundamental personal rights, plus illicit use of her image. But what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. Like, why don't you say you completely lied and I can prove it and I'm going to ruin your entire lives, which you would just have to show, again, pictures of your first 30 years of life. But no.
That's what she's doing, Candace. That is literally what she's doing. When you take someone to court for this, it means that they are subject to legal penalties for doing the things that they did. Like, what the thing I don't understand about Candace Owens is that she will say something and then immediately contradict herself, and yet her audience just nods along. It's insane. It's insane how much, like, she will just, like, wibble wobble her way through a story while making no sense whatsoever.
Oh, this is really just a tactic to pretend as if these journalists didn't produce concrete proof to substantiate their claims. Now, the two journalists...
That wasn't concrete proof. We went through all of it. That was insane, like the insane ramblings of a guy who's been locked in a cell while having, like, religious visions, okay? That was, like, what you find inside that cell after, like, you're a prison guard. You go in, the walls are just smeared with, like, feces and blood. This is what you find. Like, that's the level we're working on here.
Being sued, by the way, are Amandine Roy and Natasha Ray, and they were eventually punished with symbolic fines for, I guess, invading the privacy of the First Lady. It's going to get even crazier.
Oh, so they lost in court because they couldn't prove their case. If they had really been the journalists that you're claiming they are, Candace, they would have won their court case. That's how these court cases work. If you can prove your case, you don't get fined. You don't get found guilty of doing the thing they accused you of doing. Oh, she has kids, Spitfire. It's pretty sad.
Though, because journalists that worked on this case were also threatened. They sent the police to threaten them while they were conducting research. Natasha Ray, the woman that was punished with a...
My friend, who is a male, showed me his mom's high school yearbook back when we were in high school, and she looked exactly like he did. Yeah, happens. Also, folks, we need 6 more follows on Twitch. Let's go. Let's go. I believe in you guys.
Symbolic fine. As she was conducting research, she reached out to somebody to ask some questions about the First Lady's upbringing, the first 30 years of the First Lady's life. And then what happened as she was examining these inconsistencies in the story was the police burst into her home on July 13th, 2021. They then took her into custody without being summoned on the pretext of a complaint that was filed by one of the individuals that she had reached out to, Catherine Audoy. She was then released after 5 hours of tough interrogation with a lesson. And you shouldn't be doing this. They tried to humiliate her. They tried to threaten her. And of course, this only made the public even more interested in the story. She was also asked to produce a list of journalists with whom she had been in contact with. The police also seized her phone. That is not normal. None of this should be happening in a story that, again, would be so easy to debunk. They similarly...
Again, it should also similarly be easy to prove in a court of law, Candace, and yet none of these people that you were mentioning seem to have been able to do that, despite, in your words, the overwhelming evidence of the case, apparently.
Arrested a man named Eric Verhey, another...
Oh God! If Bridget Macron sued Candace Owens over this, it would be the funniest thing ever. I would love that so much.
...was working on the story, similarly had no charges. They just wanted to question him. I don't know, guys. You tell me, what are you thinking? If you're alleging that somebody was a man for the first 30 years of their life, why go through these efforts when you could just show photos? But of course, obviously...
Again, you've already shown photos on this video of Bridget Macron. You've already seen them and you've just denied that they're her, but they are clearly her.
To tell a lie this big, you'd have to have a very good memory. This is actually something that Judge Judy used to say. I used to love watching Judge Judy when I was young with my grandma.
Ah, yes, Judge Judy. What an excellent bar we're holding up to truth.
And she used to say, you know, if you don't lie, you don't have to have a good memory. But if you lie, you got to have a very good memory. And what keeps happening throughout the years of her being the First Lady, so since 2017, every time the First Lady tells a story about herself in her childhood, the math doesn't quite math, right? For example, she recalled living alone in the United States during Neil Armstrong's moon landing in 1969. The only problem is that she would have been just 16 years old. What? 16-year-old living alone in the United States?
Yeah. Yeah. It was 1969. There... absolutely. Just out of curiosity. I want to take a look at something real quick. Taking a look. Oh, God. Oh, come on. I was wondering if, like, the age of majority in, like, 1969 might have been, like, 16. But, honestly, it's not surprising to me that a 16-year-old would be living alone in... or living in the United States. That's not surprising at all. My theory fell apart, but it's still not surprising to me. During like the Summer of Love, Woodstock, etc.
But if the theory is true that she's actually Jean-Michel, who is 8 years older, which would make the First Lady 78 years old today, then that story would make perfect sense. Because, of course, you could live alone when you are 24 years old in the United States. Again, there are multiple examples of the First Lady just being too young in terms of the past stories that she keeps telling. Then there is the remarkably...
Again, like, the argument... let me put it this way. It is very weird. It is very weird to argue that, well, because the timeline isn't matching up perfectly, therefore, by Occam's razor, we must therefore conclude that she is actually her older brother, older by almost a decade. Like, what are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about?
Strange case of Brigitte's alleged ex-husband. So just to remind you, Doug.
Yeah, exactly, Super Lifter. Like, it would make sense if she was here as like an au pair, or if she was just like studying abroad or something. Like, there are a lot of ways that like a 16-year-old could be in the United States in 1969 by themselves.
Memory, the story goes, she was married, right? And at the age of 40 years old, she fell in love, so much so that she left her husband because she just loved this 16-year-old or 15-year-old or 14-year-old drama student so much. She left her husband and her 3 kids to be with him, okay? So it should be pretty easy to find her ex-husband that she had 3 kids with. But it turns out that they can't find that man. Yeah, back when Emmanuel Macron was elected president, journalists all over the world, international journalists, were obviously prying into his background and her background, and they just could not find this man. Allegedly, his name is André Louis Auxier, and internationally, they just couldn't locate him. Allegedly, he is a banker, or was a banker, because now they say he died, just suddenly died.
They're not saying that now. They said it in 2020. From again the Daily Mail, which you've already cited as like a reliable and trustworthy source. This isn't like, oh, they started looking into it and then he died. He died in 2019. Come on now. Come on now. Ended his days in the strictest privacy last December, according to one of the children he had with Brigitte Macron, who is now 67, because they were also able to identify the children. Yep. My father died. I buried him on December 24th in strictest privacy. I adored him. He was a being apart, a nonconformist, who valued his anonymity more than anything. He must be respected. And wow, here's another photo of Brigitte at her wedding to André Louis, however you pronounce his last name. Damn, that's crazy. It's almost like Candace Owens is full of bullshit.
But he was allegedly a banker, so it's very weird there wouldn't be a trail.
There literally is. The Daily Mail, the site that you cited already as a reliable, tracked down his children.
For journalists.
And by extension, Brigitte's children.
To find him. In 2017, during the presidential election, they tried to interview him, and it was all of their attempts in vain. In fact, in an article that was published in French magazine, Gala magazine, they titled the article, "As If He Had Never Existed." So that is in the year that he became president. They were just like, this other guy doesn't really seem to exist.
Except he clearly does. He has children. I don't understand this. Like, I'm sure if you brought this up, her argument would just be, oh, they're not really his children. I'm sure they're crisis actors. Yeah. You know, like, this is, again, the conspiracy singularity that she's circling right now for her content. She's just doing the Alex Jones thing.
It also seems to be the case that every time the press is trying to assist the narrative that he did exist, they keep accidentally showing photos of other men. For example, in 2018, France 3 TV produced a movie entitled Brigitte Macron, un roman français. And they showed this photo very quickly, featuring Brigitte and her first husband, André Louis Auxier. But it turns out that upon inspection, that actually isn't him. It's actually an old faculty photo because it has been confirmed that Brigitte was a teacher. Obviously, that's how she fell in love with the young student Emmanuel. And here is
Oh, so yeah, because a documentary got it wrong. Clearly, she's a man. Like this is insane. Even if you grant, by the way, even if you grant everything that Candace Owens is saying right now, functionally the only implication here is that the president of France is dating a trans woman and or married to a trans woman, and what? Like, and what? Like, even if you grant this, what is the harm that is being done? What is the issue with what is happening outside of like the lying about it? But clearly there would be reasons why one might be inclined to lie about your trans status in the current, political climate. Who isn't dating a trans woman at this point? Yeah, who isn't following trans streamers on Twitch these days? We need 5 more. We need 5 more follows on Twitch, okay? 5 follows on Twitch to hit 10K. We really could do it. But I have to believe in the heart of the cards. What? Yeah, I gotta shoehorn it in somehow, Amanda Corian. I'm sorry.
Here's the full photo of the faculty. Oopsies, we got it wrong again. Guys, when I tell you that there is so much proof.
Again, who's we? We got it wrong again. There's no unified we. The producers of the documentary got it wrong. That's not we got it wrong. That's just specific people got it wrong.
To this claim, I'm not a person that just pushes out these narratives, right? I'm not a person that's like, come with me and we're going to examine QAnon or Pizzagate. I am telling you that this has legs.
It literally doesn't. This has about as much legs as like a rambling, like the rambling note or manifesto of a deranged mass shooter. Okay, this has about as many legs as a dolphin. Okay, like there aren't legs here. Okay.
And you know it has legs because the press is doing their usual bit of trying to dismiss it as a far-right conspiracy theory that is being pushed by people who are backwards and racist and homophobes and transphobes. No, you're not going to do that. You're not going to gaslight us anymore. It is very simple to debunk this. It is so simple to debunk this. There should be so much evidence. In fact, if this was me and someone lied about the first 30 years of my life, I would do a press conference.
Zero PE.
I would have my brother there. I'd be like, here's my brother, John Michael. Yes, we do look alike, okay? But you guys are crazy. And then I would have college friends there. I have tons of photos of me growing up, my entire family. And then I would say, it is harmful to produce conspiracy theories. Now that we have debunked this, let's talk about the harm.
Yeah, except that, couple of things. One, you are producing a conspiracy theory right here. 2, why should a person be at the whim of, like, people saying random bullshit? Like, if someone is habitually, compulsively lying about you, why is it on you to, like, suddenly upend your entire life and put together like a show for them where you like parade all of your pictures in front of them, all of your family members in front of them, to convince them that there's nothing there? Why is that incumbent upon someone who's merely on the receiving end of someone saying random bullshit? She already won the defamation case. Why should she continue to give anything to these people? Anything that she shows, any photos that she shows, any blood test that she takes, any DNA sample that she gives, every single thing is just going to be called a lie. So there's no amount of evidence that Candace Owens would accept. She's lying here. Because she already knows all of this is bullshit, and she knows nothing's gonna come of it for her. So, like, she knows that this is all just garbage. And she's shoveling it into the mouths of her audience anyway, because she knows it'll get 1 million views. Doesn't matter that, like, she's essentially reporting on the aftermath of lost defamation cases. Doesn't matter that this has already been settled in a legal manner. She's just continuing to spread the conspiracy theory.
Of conspiracy theory.
Ah, cubed meat. I see your arm curls. Pulling a fast one on me with the Twitch redeem. Yo, time to get swole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whew. There we go. Let's go, folks. We need 5 more follows on Twitch. Let's go. Only one of the women who got sued was a freelance journalist. The other was a psychic. Oh, well then. Of course, dude.
Theories. They're not doing any of that. Instead, they're just scrambling. Why is this story really important? Why am I asking you to share it? Well, because, like I said, we should have known about this. It's been going on.
Yeah, exactly, Annie Bo. Like, and I'm sorry to hear that about your parents, but like, this is the conspiracy singularity, you know? You get like tossed in with Donald Trump and his conspiratorial like fear mongering, and then you get eased in to like anti-vax conspiracy, and then you're just gone to like the QAnon cult. You know, there's no coming back. Yeah, no, Paladin, that's the thing. I literally just went on Googled like her husband's name. The first result was a Daily Mail article with quotes from her children with this former marriage. Like, the children exist. They've been interviewed by journalists. Also, hello, Paladin. Hey, Stinky Monkey Flowers. And General Silver 01. Thank you for the hydrate. We still need those 5 follows on Twitch, though. We're so close to 10K. I can taste it.
Since 2017, but also because what they are saying is that the reason the press is covering this, right, the state media is covering this, is because what's really happening here is 2 individuals were selected to be the leaders of a nation. They were selected on the principle of blackmail, is what they are saying. They are saying that they selected these 2 individuals because they can control them, because they created the wife, right? Because they know the history here. And they can basically say, here is what you're going to do, Emmanuel Macron and Brigitte. You are going to pass through these policies.
I'm sorry, what? I feel like I missed a key.
Media is covering this is because what's really happening here is two individuals were selected to be the leaders of a nation. They were selected on the principle of blackmail, is what they are saying. They're saying that.
Okay, so Candace Owens is just going full JQ. Like, essentially what Candace Owens is arguing here is that a cabal of evil leaders, in the shadows on the world stage, selected Emmanuel Macron and Brigitte Macron to be the I guess it's also weird to say the leaders, because Brigitte Macron is just married to Emmanuel Macron, but they select the leaders of France, and they select Emmanuel Macron because he can be blackmailed via his wife, you know? But what she's saying here and alluding to is the idea that there's an evil cabal of Jews, the globalist elite is the dog whistle here, that control the world's nations, that manipulate from behind the shadows. And essentially she's saying that the Jews selected Emmanuel Macron because they could blackmail him on his wife's transness. That's effectively what she's trying to say. If I'm like really distilling down all of this bullshit correctly, that's crazy, because at the very least she provided a citation for like the trans stuff. Even though that citation is completely and utterly bonkers, even if we grant her that every single word in that document is true, she has nothing that backs up the idea that there is a secret cabal of people who are controlling Emmanuel Macron via blackmail. There is nothing that actually indicates that whatsoever.
That they selected these two individuals because they can control them, because they created the wife, right? Because they know the history here. And they can basically say, here is what you're going to do, Emmanuel Macron and Brigitte. You are going to pass through these policies. And there's nothing that you can do to stop whatever it is that we want to accomplish, because we control you. Again, we made you. So again, all across the nation. And
it's very interesting. You know, she makes an appeal to how well documented everything is time and time again throughout this, and yet when it comes to her big play here at the end, weirdly she doesn't provide any kind of citation for evil Jewish cabal. That's strange. So strange. Bizarre. We made you? Yeah, it's the argument here is essentially that this international group that is currently blackmailing Emmanuel Macron personally oversaw his wife's transition when she was 30 years old. And that is crazy. The idea that they were like nurturing her to like seduce a child so they could raise them up together to be the leaders of France. That's the level of insane batshit conspiratorial thinking we're dealing with here. Yeah, basically the Jews came and stole a child by manipulating a teacher and transing them. Like that we're in cuckoo bananas land.
France, they're even having protests. They're wearing wigs that resemble the wig that Brigitte wears and demand.
Yeah. Except I'm just going to throw this idea out here. Trans people don't need to wear wigs generally. We can if we want to, but our hair tends to be real. Like we tend to grow out our hair, and it's real hair. We don't need to wear wigs. actually.
Demanding the truth about this situation. And if this is proven
This is shameless Alex Jones bullshit.
to be fact, and again, I'm going to link this, you should read it. It's like 16 chapters. It took me 2 days to read through all
Yeah, she's like 77 years old, okay? Like she has had enough time to grow her hair out, I promise.
of it, and my jaw was on the floor. But if it is proven true, then what we are unpacking here is exactly what we are unpacking.
Okay, except that you've already stipulated that it was proven to be not true in court when they ruled against these two individuals who were sued for defamation. So, you really, there's no bombshell here. You've already established that this is all fake bullshit.
Hacking in America, that blackmail is what rules the world.
Again, citation needed for this blackmail plot by a shadowy cabal that secretly runs France and potentially other countries.
And that's all I have to say about that. If you're like most Americans, you're struggling to make ends meet. Everything is more expensive these days. By the time
God, we did it. We made it through, folks. Not true. Only biological females can grow long hair. It's just science. Yeah. God. Candace Owens is such a piece of shit. I'm actually really glad that we covered that because that was way crazier than I thought it was going to be, and also like actually a new low for Candace Owens. Like, I thought that she couldn't get any lower than where she currently was, where she was like calling like trans people demons or whatever. But this is actually way lower. Like, she's just doing like the JQ conspiracy black hole thing. Yeah. My God. These conspiracies are so overly complicated and bizarre, but part of the reason they're overly complicated and bizarre is so that they can more neatly fit in with other conspiracy theories, you know? Because then you get to, like, do conspiracy theory, like, analysis to, like, merge the theories together into one, and it makes you feel like you're discovering another secret. You know, it's kind of like this addictive loop. It's almost like a gamified way to self-radicalize. It's pretty disgusting. Wait, so if I'm a Jew and trans, am I just creating myself in some weird feedback loop forever? I guess so, silent but sure. Holy moly. That was a lot. Yeah, and that's the other thing. The more complicated and weird and hard to follow it is, the more it becomes like believable in like a weirdly perverse way, you know? The bigger the lie, the more people will believe it because of the audacity of the lie and because it's harder to pull apart a ton of collective bullshit, you know?